General Hospital spoilers reveal that in a twist that few saw coming but many suspected might eventually surface. The latest casting development at General Hospital has sent shockwaves through the fanbase and industry alike. The news that Kate Monsey, who has portrayed Kristina Corinthos Davis with a raw emotional intensity and a deeply conflicted inner life, will be departing the canvas has sparked a firestorm of speculation, disbelief, and anxiety. But it is the revelation of who will step into Kristina's shoes, Elizabeth Hendrickson. A seasoned actress known for her commanding presence on The Young and the Restless, that is reshaping the entire future of the show. This is not merely a casting change. It is a seismic recalibration of a character, a storyline, and the thematic architecture of Port Charles as it currently stands. Kate's Kristina was volatile, wounded, explosive, and deeply yearning for identity and approval, teetering between the shadow of Sunny and the self-made independence she so desperately desired. The layers she brought to Kristina's ongoing arc, particularly in the fallout from the baby surrogacy storyline, her shattered relationship with Molly, and her descent into emotional instability, were a highlight of the show's recent months. Her exit marks the end of one chapter, but what follows is no simple continuation. The choice to recast Kristina with Elizabeth signals a radical shift not just in interpretation but intention. Elizabeth brings with her the reputation of a woman who can inhabit fire and grief simultaneously, someone who can balance veiled manipulation with tragic vulnerability. Her previous roles have seen her navigating twisted familial betrayals, mental collapses, and emotional warfare with an artful precision that will no doubt breathe a different kind of fire into the character of Kristina. This change comes at a time when Kristina's storyline is already at its most volatile. Her estranged bond with Molly has fractured further after the tragic loss of the surrogate baby. Her anger at Ava, her obsession with being seen as the better mother, and her unresolved resentment toward Alexis have created a powder keg of emotional contradictions. With Elizabeth stepping in, the tone of these conflicts will almost certainly shift. Kristina may become more calculating, more dangerous, or even more desperate to fill the void left by everything she's lost. Where Kate's Kristina was reckless and impulsive, Elizabeth may bring a more strategic, simmering fury to the role. It is this recalibration, this adjustment, that is proving to be one of the most jarring in recent General Hospital history. Fan reactions have ranged from open curiosity to explosive outrage. Many worry that Elizabeth's interpretation will erase or diminish the vulnerability that made Kate's portrayal resonate so strongly with viewers. Others are cautiously optimistic, believing that Kristina's psychological evolution demands a performer who can carry her into darker, more nuanced territory. The change in actress isn't just a shift in performance. It's an acknowledgement by the writers and showrunners that Kristina's arc is entering a new phase, one that may involve betrayal, political ambition, or even outright war against her own family. The ripple effect of this change will not be confined to Kristina alone. Already there are whispers of how Elizabeth's arrival will alter the show's power dynamics. Her previous chemistry with actors like Chad Duell, Maura West, and Nancy Lee Grahn suggests that her Kristina will clash, seduce, and potentially destabilize multiple characters. A new confrontation with Sunny could emerge, this time less fueled by desperate daughterly love and more by a drive to undermine or even surpass him. And what of her interactions with Ava, the woman she holds responsible for the death of her baby? Under Elizabeth's portrayal, these scenes could become colder, more calculated, less screaming matches and more psychological duels. It's also likely that Kristina's interactions with Jocelyn and Dex may deepen in complexity, with new romantic or revenge-based motivations at play. Even her relationship with Blaze, which once teetered on the edge of intimacy and emotional dependency, could take a sharp turn into manipulation or estrangement. Behind the scenes, this recast represents more than just an actress change, it signals a production-level reset. Frank Valentini, already under scrutiny for how other exits and transitions have been handled, notably Chad Duell's departure, is now facing mounting pressure. Some believe the decision to recast instead of writing Kristina out temporarily was a response to internal turmoil in the writer's room. There are rumors of creative disputes, factional power struggles over the show's direction, and a desire to mold Kristina into a more central antagonist figure for the upcoming fall season. This suggests that the show may be prepping her to become a power player in future arcs involving mob politics, legal warfare, or even mayoral corruption, possibly intersecting with Justine Turner's storyline, which itself is veering into murky moral territory with Sunny. At the heart of all this is a brutal irony. Kristina was once a character defined by her uncertainty, her inability to find a place in the world that wasn't defined by the men around her. But now, with Elizabeth in the role, she may become a woman who defines her own space, forcefully, dangerously, and perhaps even tragically. This transformation won't come without consequence. Characters like Molly, Alexis, and Sunny may find themselves pushed to emotional limits they never expected. The recast allows the writers to retcon, reframe, and recontextualize Kristina's past traumas in ways that may prove explosive. For instance, if Kristina begins to ally herself with characters like Valentine or Sidwell, or even Daisy in her current volatile state, there's potential for a new axis of chaos to emerge in Port Charles. One that doesn't rely on traditional villain archetypes but on fractured souls bonding over mutual pain and vendetta. Moreover, Elizabeth's Kristina could become the linchpin in the show's upcoming moral reckoning arc. With Willow unraveling, Michael descending into paranoia, and the mob alliances shifting under Sunny's unsure footing, a new Kristina who is both insider and saboteur could reshape the very fabric of the show's conflicts. She might become the unexpected threat to both the Corinthos legacy and the Davis family's fragile unity. And if the show decides to revisit her past traumas, such as her experience with cult leader Shiloh or the unresolved emotional abuse she endured as a teenager, Elizabeth's version of Kristina might weaponize these scars, using them as justification for cold revenge or dangerous manipulations. In many ways, this casting decision feels like a declaration of war, not against the audience, but against complacency. It is a statement that General Hospital is willing to sacrifice comfort for narrative risk. And with that comes uncertainty, chaos, and potential brilliance. As the storyline unfolds and Elizabeth Hendrickson steps into Kristina's chaos-stricken life, viewers can expect not just a new face but a completely new emotional temperature. Every interaction, every gesture, every line will now carry the weight of change. And in soap opera tradition, change is never clean, never quiet, and never without cost. Whether fans embrace this transformation or recoil from it, one thing is clear: Port Charles will never be the same again. And that, perhaps, is the point. The recast isn't just a switch, it's a detonation, and the fallout will define General Hospital for months, if not years, to come. The recent casting shakeup at General Hospital has ignited a wave of emotional turmoil and speculation that refuses to settle. Especially now that the news has broken about Kate Monsey's departure and the immediate recasting of the role of Kristina with none other than the young and the restless alum Elizabeth Hendrickson. What might have started as a quiet behind-the-scenes transition has now erupted into one of the most talked-about developments in daytime television. And with good reason. This is not simply about a change in actors. It's about the unraveling of stability, the shattering of fan expectations, and the spiraling intensity that surrounds every decision. Every betrayal, every storyline being rewritten in real time. The exit of Kate Monsey, beloved by many for her fiery portrayal of Kristina, has left fans stunned. Not just because of her sudden departure but also because of the chilling silence that preceded it. According to emerging whispers, Kate has been eyeing a higher profile, possibly primetime opportunity, and the allure of that future pulled her away from Port Charles far earlier than expected. Her decision, though understandable, left a gaping hole in an arc that was only beginning to burn at its hottest. And that's precisely why the timing of her exit has unleashed a frenzy, not only within the fanbase but within the story itself. Elizabeth Hendrickson stepping into this volatile narrative space is not just a casting choice, it's a strategic recalibration. The showrunners are making it clear. General Hospital is not backing down from Kristina's rising importance. In fact, they're doubling down. And Elizabeth's entrance as the new Kristina is expected to intensify an already unstable character arc. The real twist here is that Elizabeth and Kate are known to be close friends. Their professional and personal history adds a disorienting, almost surreal layer to this recasting. Some insiders have begun whispering that Kate's exit may have even been smoothed or supported behind closed doors by Elizabeth herself, a gesture not of sabotage, but of trust. But trust in daytime drama is always a double-edged sword, and if there's one thing fans have learned over the decades, it's that loyalty in soap operas, on-screen or off, is often a prelude to betrayal. The fallout is everywhere. Within the world of General Hospital, Kristina's storyline has already been primed for a massive explosion. With her surrogate pregnancy turned tragic, her relationships with Molly and TJ hanging by a thread, and Ava Jerome's continued manipulation pushing her to the brink, this was never going to be a soft exit. Now, with Elizabeth Hendrickson in the role, the tone of the character will shift, subtly or not. Elizabeth brings with her a resume soaked in dramatic intensity, having portrayed Chloe Mitchell with a ferocity that never quite settled. Her ability to portray emotional instability, resilience, and vengeful rage is unmatched. And if GH intends to weaponize those traits through Kristina, then the character is about to become more dangerous and unpredictable than ever. This transition doesn't just change a character. It changes the rules. It forces every relationship Kristina had to be redefined. It breaks the emotional continuity fans cling to and challenges the actors sharing scenes with her to adapt, evolve, or crumble. Characters like Molly, Alexis, Ava, and even Sunny will feel this ripple effect. This is not merely a casting update, it's a structural rewrite of an entire emotional web. And yet the fans are not reacting uniformly. Some mourn Kate's departure and claim she brought a grounded vulnerability that can't be replicated. Others are cautiously optimistic, believing that Elizabeth's darker, more volatile style may push Kristina into territory the show has long hinted at but never truly explored: obsession, betrayal, revenge. Social media has already begun its cycle of backlash, speculation, and eventual obsession. Whispers of friction behind the scenes are growing louder. Was Kate pushed out? Did creative differences arise regarding where the story was heading? Did Elizabeth's return to ABC come at the cost of an existing friendship? Even if no one admits it publicly, the signs are there. Abrupt announcements, emotionally vague press releases, and a recast so immediate that it could only have been in the works for weeks, perhaps months. One can't help but wonder if Kristina's storyline was always meant to implode, and the showrunners simply fast-tracked the chaos once they had Elizabeth in hand. And then there's the legacy element. Longtime viewers feel the gravity of what this means. Kristina is not a side character. She is a legacy character, born from one of the most explosive pairings in GH history, Sunny and Alexis. Recasting a character with that much emotional baggage and history is like rewiring a bomb while it's still ticking. Every decision now must walk a tightrope, honoring what came before, while thrusting forward into something so different it demands viewers relearn how to feel. The tension of this balancing act will be unbearable. But it's exactly that pressure that General Hospital thrives on. It's what makes the show endure. Meanwhile, off-screen, the loss of Kate Monsey is being mourned in fan circles and backstage corridors alike. She didn't just play Kristina, she helped redefine her. Her exit marks the end of an era, no matter how graceful the transition appears on paper. And Elizabeth knows this. She's stepping into something that is both opportunity and danger. A spotlight that could either reignite her daytime fame or collapse under the weight of expectation. But perhaps that's the point. Soap operas are built on reinvention, on death and resurrection, betrayal and reconciliation, identity lost and regained. With Elizabeth Hendrickson stepping into Kristina's skin, the question isn't whether she'll be accepted. It's whether the chaos she brings will be controlled, or whether it will burn through Port Charles like a wildfire. As Kate Monsey moves toward a new frontier, possibly something that will cement her as a leading woman in another genre, Elizabeth returns to the place where everything burns a little brighter, cuts a little deeper, and never, ever stops moving. In the weeks ahead, viewers can expect everything to shift. Kristina will face new enemies and forge unlikely alliances. Her relationship with Ava may mutate into something even more toxic. her role within the Davis family will be strained to the point of shattering. And if she dares step into politics or another position of power, a storyline already whispered among crew members, then Sunny may have to decide whether Kristina is a daughter to protect or a liability to neutralize. Either way, one thing is clear, the casting switch isn't the end of a chapter. It's the violent beginning of one. And Elizabeth Hendrickson's arrival marks a turning point for General Hospital, a moment where stability gives way to transformation. And where the only certainty left is that nothing will be the same again. There are growing rumors circulating within the General Hospital fanbase that Molly Lansing Davis may be the next Davis sister to be recast, a change that, if true, could send shockwaves through an already unstable legacy family. In the wake of the recent dramatic announcement that Kate Monsey is exiting the role of Kristina and being replaced by the young and the restless alum Elizabeth Hendrickson, fans are beginning to speculate whether this is the beginning of a larger strategy, a complete overhaul of the Davis family dynamic with a bold, high-stakes recasting strategy that no one saw coming. And now, all signs are pointing toward Molly. The whispers are getting louder, not just among fans but from internal rumblings behind the scenes. There's an undeniable shift in energy when a legacy family like the Davises becomes the center of casting changes. Kristina was just the beginning, and now, with Molly possibly following suit, the very foundation of this multi-generational powerhouse is being restructured. This isn't just a casting convenience, it's a creative gamble. And it suggests that General Hospital is preparing for a massive storyline arc that will require every Davis woman to be at the top of their game, emotionally, psychologically, and dramatically. If Molly is recast next, it's a sign that the show is preparing to go further, darker, and more dangerous than ever before with the Davis legacy. Adding fuel to the speculation is the undeniable trend that the young and the restless alumni are migrating to General Hospital with unprecedented speed. Elizabeth Hendrickson stepping into Kristina's shoes is one thing, but the possibility that another YNR veteran could be tapped to play Molly suggests a larger casting pattern. Some insiders have hinted that GH is actively seeking out talent with established daytime resumes, actors who can immediately step into complex roles and bring gravity, fan loyalty, and instant credibility. And if that's true, then Molly's role is ripe for a recasting, not because of failure, but because of expansion. Because the Davis women are about to become central in a way we haven't seen in years. The idea of recasting Molly doesn't come out of nowhere. While Kristen Vaganos has delivered quiet strength and moral resolve in the role, GH may be seeking a more combustible energy, with Kristina's new direction growing more intense by the day. Molly's character may need to reflect that emotional instability, inner conflict, and dramatic tension that fuels great soap storytelling. A new actress might signal a shift away from the restrained legal warrior we've known and toward a version of Molly who is torn apart by jealousy, revenge, ambition, and betrayal. Especially in the wake of the surrogate storyline, which deeply fractured her relationships with Kristina and TJ, Molly has never been more vulnerable. And vulnerability, in the right hands, becomes explosive. All of this feeds into the larger transformation of the Davis family. Alexis, the matriarch, has long carried the emotional weight of the clan. But now, with all three daughters heading into uncertain territory, Kristina recast, Sam barely tethered to current storylines, and Molly possibly being restructured, the show may be preparing to thrust this family into the center of a sweeping narrative. That narrative might involve politics, courtroom drama, broken relationships, and dark secrets from the past, many of which could tie into Sunny's increasing descent into chaos, or Ava's manipulations, or even a legacy storyline involving Julie and Jerome. The more unstable these daughters become, the more powerful Alexis will have to be. And the more that happens, the more fans will be glued to the unraveling drama. Let's not ignore what's happening strategically behind the scenes. The influx of YNR talent suggests a studio-level directive. A recruitment campaign targeting talent who already understand the tempo and high-stakes emotional layers of daytime drama. These actors don't need to be trained, they can hit the ground running. And Elizabeth Hendrickson's casting proves that GH is looking for performers with an edge, a fire, and a layered vulnerability that can evolve quickly. That's exactly what a potential Molly recast would require. It's not about replacing an actor, it's about reimagining a character to match the explosive tone of the current storyline. And if that tone is headed toward a Davis family implosion, then every daughter must be sharpened to a dangerous emotional point. There's also the simple truth that fans are starting to expect the unexpected. With casting shakeups becoming more frequent and more dramatic, audiences have developed a kind of emotional whiplash. But if the payoff is good, if the stories go deeper, if the family fractures lead to brilliant confrontations and emotionally raw reckonings, then the risk is worth it. Imagine a version of GH where all three Davis daughters are reimagined and re-energized, where every conversation between them carries the weight of betrayal and the threat of redemption. That's the kind of soap opera legacy the show could be chasing right now. And so, the question remains, is Molly next? If so, who will step into her shoes? Will it be another familiar face from YNR? Will it be a complete surprise? And how will this impact the Davis family as a whole? The emotional stakes have never been higher, and fans are watching every move. But if GH is willing to go this far, to reshuffle its core cast to tell a darker, richer story, then we may be on the brink of one of the most unforgettable Davis family eras in General Hospital history. And that story is only just beginning.